Good morning and welcome everyone to today's class. Well, uh, in the last class we had discussed about springs, spring energy, spring force, series parallel combination. Do you remember this series parallel combination? Everything we had discussed in the last class. We had discussed how to find out the total energy stored in the system. Then we also found out how to find out the extension in the spring and how to find out the energy in the spring. And then we added all the energies in the spring and we found out that addition of all those energies is the total energy. Do you remember that question? Yes or no, everyone? Can I have some raised hands? Okay. Now the question that we did for springs, the same question will come in 12th standard, but instead of springs, there will be resistances. Instead of force, there would be probably voltage. Instead of springs, there will be resistors. Instead of extension, there would be probably current. Or the same question would come in capacitance, where things will be replaced by charge, voltage, and capacitance. And the same question will come in inductance, where things will be represented by inductance, rate of change of current, and potential difference. Everything remains same. The series parallel combination remains same. Similar question can be done in different chapters. When those chapters come, we'll go through those chapters. Right now, for this class, it is more than enough. Actually, it is not supposed to be taught in this class. It is supposed to be taught in SHM, simple harmonic motion. But since we were doing spring, I thought that we should be doing it. Now, let us move on and discuss some final points about gravitational potential energy, which I would like to stress upon. Uh, it is basically concerning the sort of questions that come in the examination hall and that trouble a lot of students. So we'll write the heading of gravitational potential energy. We have already seen gravitational potential energy. What we are going to do in this particular topic here is, instead of taking point objects, we will be taking objects which are having some dimensions. For example, this pen. How do I find the gravitational potential energy of this pen? Or for example, this mobile phone. This mobile phone is kept like this. This is ground. Mobile phone is here. What is the gravitational potential energy of this mobile phone? If it is a point, it's very easy to find out. So let us first take the first example, gravitational potential energy of a point mass. And we all know what is the gravitational potential energy of a point mass. Can anyone tell me what is the gravitational potential energy of a point mass? So this is ground. Remember, we are always taking, in most of the cases, we are taking the gravitational potential energy of ground as 0. Then I have a point mass m, which is taken as a point.
SMGH, sir.
Yes, very good. At a height h, if this point mass is located, and if I assume that the potential energy of ground is 0, then the potential energy of this point mass at a height h is plus mgh. We all know this, we all understand this, we have done problems on this. If this point was below ground, it would have been minus mgh. We all understand this? Can I have some raised hands that we understand this? Great. Please note it down. It was a point mass. But that is not the only question that will come to us in the examination hall. I'll give you a minute to note this down, and then I will move on to the next type of body where we will try to understand how much would be its potential energy. I hope you are writing this. For a point mass, we have seen what is the gravitational potential energy. Okay, I hope you have noted this down. The next point, the next body that we are going to study and understand its gravitational potential energy is a uniform rod. A uniform rod of mass m, length l. This rod is hanging like this. This rod is hanging like this. We assume that the gravitational potential energy of this ground is zero. Gravitational potential energy of ground is zero. Now, if I ask you the question, what is the gravitational potential energy of this rod? What would your answer be? Obviously, your answer would be, sir, you should know the height of some point. Now, as you can see, this rod has an infinite number of points on it. Which point should I give you the distance or height? Let us take one particular point here.
Center of mass.
Yes, the center of mass. What do you mean by the center of mass? Now, the center of mass would be discussed in the next chapter. Right now, the center of mass is actually the center of this rod. Let us take it to be that. Let us not complicate things right now. This point has to be the center of mass. I should know the height of the center of the mass from ground. But since we don't know this term, center of mass, up till now, just take it to be the center of the rod. So I'm giving you where is the center of the rod, and I'm also giving you what is the height of this center of the rod. Remember, it
Sir,
is
why
not
do
the
we
center
take
of the
center
rod,
of
it is
mass,
the
sir?
center of mass of the rod. Let us say that height is h. Now, if I know this, and it can be easily proved, we are not going into the proof. The gravitational potential energy of this rod becomes how much? The gravitational potential energy of this rod becomes mgh, where h is the height of the center of the rod. I should not say the center of mass of the rod from the reference point. The reference point here is ground, whose potential energy is taken as zero. So remember, if you have bodies like this, a rod, to find the potential energy of the rod, you have to find the position of the center of mass. Center of mass is not a term that we are acquainted with. Let us call it a center, the center of the rod. Am I clear? Can I have some raised hands that we understand this? Okay. Now, if the same question is put in a different way, see, question can come in a variety of ways. So you must understand. Once you understand the concept, you must be able to understand what will be the thing. If this rod is like this, if this rod is like this, instead of vertical, it is horizontal. Mass is m, length is l. Now, what would be the potential energy of this rod? Again, I have to locate the center of this rod, which is the center of mass. And let me call. Now, all the points would be at the same height. Do we understand this? The rod is horizontal. All the points would be at the same height. What would be the potential energy of this rod now? Anyone with an answer? Anyone with an answer? Anyone with an answer?
Yes, sir.
What is the answer?
Yes, sir.
Same. MGH. Wherever, however, the rod is kept, whether it is horizontal, whether it is vertical, whether it is inclined at an angle, don't forget, we always have to look for this point. Which is, what is this point? This point is the center of mass of the rod. Look at the center of mass of the rod, wherever it is located. Find out the height from the reference point. mgh would be the potential energy of that rod. I hope you have written this. I hope you have written this. I'll
Sir,
give you time to write this. Till then, I will move on to the third point. Yes, but anyone has a doubt?
sir, why do we take center of mass?
Let us not get into that. It comes by derivation. We don't know the term center of mass, so I can't explain why the center of mass. Hmm? If you would have known what is center of mass, then probably I would have tried to explain. But since we still don't know what is center of mass, it becomes difficult for me to explain it, and it will not serve any purpose right now. So let us see. I always tell you one thing: need to know basis. You don't need to know this. If you need to know this at some point in time, I will let you know. Okay.
Okay,
Just take
sir.
it to the center of the rod, center of mass of the rod. That is more than enough. That is the
Right, sir.
information that you need. Okay, because it just requires some calculations, beta, and because of that calculation, that answer comes, and that is pure coincidence. Because that is how we define the center of mass of the rod. So both the definition are actually same, and that is why the answer comes same. Got it? Center of mass is also defined in the same similar way. The formula is also similar. That formula that comes for center of mass is same as the formula that comes for gravitational potential energy, and that is why they come some. They come same. Okay, so that is mathematics, nothing else. Got it?
Okay, sir. Done.
Let us not get into that.
Okay.
Okay, chalo. The next thing that we are going to do, find potential energy, and these are the questions that normally come, and we'll be doing questions on this as well. Uniform chain or wire, not basically wire, but they will give you a chain is lying somewhere, and this things are happening with the chain. So again, a question based on chain, and these questions are quite favorite with everyone loves question on chain. So here is this chain, links of this chain. The mass of this chain is m, the length of this chain is l. Again, the gravitational potential energy of the reference point, which is ground, is taken as 0. Can you now tell me what would be the gravitational potential energy of chain? Remember, the very important term here is uniform, that the mass is uniform. If the chain is not uniform, then the answer would change. Again, remember, it is always the center of mass. But in case of uniform things, symmetrical things, the center of mass lies at the center. Okay, so what about the potential energy of this uniform chain which is hanging? And I have to tell you some point. So I again tell you the same point C. Remember, this point C is the CM, center of mass, center of mass of this rod. And the height of the center of mass of the rod from the reference point is h. Then I repeat the same question. What is the potential energy of this rod? No, this is not rod. This is a chain now. What is the potential energy of this chain? And the answer is, what is the answer? The answer remains same. It is equal to mgh. Remember, this h is the height of the center of mass, which in this case is the center of the chain from the reference level. Reference level is taken as ground. We can take it at the highest point, we can take it at the lowest point. I always take it at the lowest point. Whatever is the lowest point, that always becomes my reference. So everything is positive. I don't like negatives in my life. That is how I do things. You can take reference anywhere you feel like. You can take it at 0. I always take it at the lowest most point in the question. So everything is positive, nothing is negative. This is all about uniform chain or wire. Center, find out the center. That is the center of mass. That is the point from where I calculate or we calculate the gravitational potential energy of this body. We don't calculate it. This is how it comes. This is the beauty of physics and maths put together, that they come together and do some wonderful, wonderful stuff. I hope you are noting everything down in your notebooks. Okay. Then comes this gentleman. Again, everything is uniform. Uniform ring. This is a ring. Whatever you wear, girls wear in their hands, boys wear in their hand. That's a ring. Disc. You must have seen a CD. That is a disc without the hole. Disc. So disc is ring filled up with mass. Sphere. Sphere is always solid. And we'll come to all this. Okay. You are into rotation. So you must have heard about sphere. You must have heard about solid sphere and hollow sphere. Remember, a sphere is always solid. It is never hollow. So when I say sphere, it is a solid sphere. When I say cylinder, it is a solid cylinder. When I say cone, it is a solid cone. If it is hollow from inside, I will tell you it is a hollow sphere. Instead of calling it as hollow sphere, I don't like hollowness in my life. I will call it spherical shell. It's a spherical shell. So spherical shell means top there is material and the inside is all empty. Instead of calling it as hollow sphere, I don't like this term. I call it spherical shell. So whether it's a uniform ring or disc or spherical shell or sphere, everything is like this round thing. Not actually round. Sphere is not round. Sphere is something else. Okay. If I ask you what is the gravitational potential energy of all these bodies, this gravitational potential energy is zero. This is how I represent a ring. This is how I represent a ring. Then how do I represent a disc? There is a subtle difference between a ring and a disc. Now, if I have to represent a disc, I have to first make a gola. I will make a gola. Now, the radius of this gola is r. Now, how do I differentiate between a hollow ring, a ring which is got no material inside, it is hollow, and a disc which has got material? How do I differentiate it? So, you are going to be engineer very soon. So we call it hashing. So when I put this hashes, that means there is material here. So you understand? This thing becomes a ring and this thing becomes a disc. Am I clear? The figure on your left is a ring. It has got nothing in between. That means it is hollow. On the right, we have discs where you have material filled. Do you get my point? Do you get how I am representing them? Can I have some raised hands? Okay. Similarly, if I had to represent this, this will become a hollow sphere because nothing is inside. So you can call it hollow sphere. I don't like to call hollow than empty than anything. I will call it spherical shell. So if I have to draw a spherical shell, I will draw it like this. Only the gola and nothing is inside. Khali gola. On the other hand, if I draw it like this, the figure on the right becomes, the figure on the left is hollow sphere or a spherical shell. Then the figure on right becomes, it becomes a sphere. And remember, sphere is always solid. So I will never call it solid sphere because sphere is solid. I can't call something by a name which is not its. Books may call it solid sphere. But remember, sphere is solid. There is no liquid sphere. Sphere is solid. So we are talking about all these diagrams, all these figures. Again, everything is uniform. If I have to ask you what is the potential energy of this gentleman, again I'm taking the reference on ground as 0, and then I must give you some height of somebody, some point. So I'm again giving the height of the center. Remember, this point is not the center. This is the center of the mass of the entire body, and I'm giving you the height as h. Can you now tell me what is the gravitational potential energy of these bodies? Doesn't matter whether it's a hollow sphere, spherical shell, or a sphere, whether it's a disk or a ring, all their center of masses lies at the center because they are uniform. Can you now tell me what is the gravitational potential energy of all these bodies? And the answer is M G H. Nothing changes. The concept remains same. We have to locate the center of the mass. We have to find out how high is that center of mass from my reference point. And I have not written plus. I must write plus M G H. And that is how things are done. I'll give you a minute to understand what I have written, to understand the difference in the two figures. The figure on the left represents something which is hollow from inside, doesn't have any material. The figure on the right represents something that has material, and that is why this is known as engineering drawing or machine drawing. When you have material, you will show it by hashes. When you have hollow space, you will not draw anything over there. That is hollow. That is engineering drawing. That is machine drawing. I was very good at that. I was very good at that. Chalo. Let us now give you a time, give you a minute to write it down. If you have any problems, ask me. Else we will move on and solve some questions on this. I hope you have noted this down. And here comes the question. So the question is pretty damn simple. There is a rod which is kept like this, hanging. I drop it. It's dropped. It falls by a height of h. It falls by a height of h. The mass of the rod is m. Length of the rod is l. Find the change in gravitational potential energy. Find the change in gravitational potential energy. I'm looking forward to your answers. Find the change in gravitational potential energy. That is the first question. Then I'll ask you one more and see how we can build this up step by step, slowly, slowly. What is
Sir,
the.
is it in the air or resting on the surface? Sir?
Yes, beta?
Is it in the air or resting on the surface?
If it is resting on a surface, does it fall down? No. It's not resting on surface, it's in the air. I told you, I showed you the diagram. It's like this. I have dropped it, it falls. It's that simple. I do not give a complicated question in the beginning. That will just complicate your life. I don't want your life to be complicated. Don't worry. Your life is not complicated. Your life is simple. Find the change in gravitational potential energy. Anyone with an answer?
MGH, sir. Plus MGH.
Plus or minus? Change is always final minus initial. Remember that. Plus and minus makes a hell lot of difference because both of the options will be there.
MGH, sir.
Hmm?
Minus MGH.
Plus mgx. So final energy is more and inertial energy is less. Initial energy is less. Is that so? Something falls. Why does something fall?
Minus
Because it
MGH, sir.
Huh?
Minus mgh.
Yes, minus mgx is the correct answer. Remember, everything always moves from a point of higher energy to a point of lower energy. I told you that, right?
Yes, sir.
Higher energy, less stability. Lower energy, more stability. Everyone wants to be stable in their lives. No one wants a life where he's earning 1 CR 1 month, next month he's at zero. It's better to earn 40 lakhs every month rather than earning 1 CR in 1 month and zero in the other. Stability is what we are looking at. So it's a simple question. So basically, what is going to happen? You just draw a simple diagram. The rod falls down by a distance h. Remember, we are not concerned with how much the rod has fallen. Nah, we're not concerned with that. What we are concerned is how much the center of the mass has fallen. The center of the mass of the rod is at the center, I've told you. Now, if this entire rod falls by a height h, if this entire rod falls by a height h, the center of mass will also fall by a height h. Yes or no? So it will now come to this point C dash. C dash. It will now come to this point C dash. It has fallen down. It has fallen down. C was at a higher point. Original C was at a higher point. Now it has fallen down. Potential energy has decreased. What is the difference between C and C dash? To find out the difference between C and C dash, I have to just see what is the difference in height. The difference in height is h. C dash is lower, C is higher. So difference, final minus initial, the difference or the change in gravitational potential energy delta U, the change in gravitational potential energy would be equal to minus mgh. Do we all understand this? Can I have some raised hand that we understand this, sir? Everyone at the back, girls at the back, boys at the right, back, front, center table. Okay. Now the second question comes. Okay. Now tell me, anyone, why is this rod falling? Why is this rod falling? Why is this rod falling? When you are doing a question, if you analyze it from every angle, whatever question comes in the examination hall, you will feel that you have done it some point in your life. And that is the whole purpose of taking your class. That is the whole purpose of what I have learned in the past 15 years, teaching about 55,000 students. That is what I have learned. Yes. Why does this rod fall? Anyone? Why does this rod fall? We can explain it in different ways. Can you tell me any one way of explaining it? Why does this rod fall? Someone is raising hands at the back. Some girl? No, no one. No one knows why this rod is falling. You know it from the 7th standard, 6th standard, 5th standard, 4th standard. Why this rod falls? Why this rod falls? No one knows it. Someone should know it. Everyone should know it. Why does this rod fall?
Due to gravitational, sir.
Okay, due to gravitational force. Earth is pulling it. That means there is a force acting on the rod. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What is that force? What is that force? Again, same question asked in a different way. What is that force that is acting on the rod?
mg, sir.
Weight of the rod, gravitational force, weight. The next question is, what is the work done by the gravitational force on this rod? This rod is falling because of gravitational force. Because gravitational force mg is acting on it. What is the work done by that force? What is the work done by that force?
mgh.
Yes, we know it in different ways. This work done is minus of change in potential energy, or it has fallen down by height h. Work done is mgh. Do we all understand this? Yes or no? Can I have some raise hand that we understand this? Okay, so if this question would have been asked in a different way, what is the work done by gravity? The answer is straight away, sir, it is plus mgh. Gravity is doing positive work. but change in potential energy is negative. That is the relation between the two. We have done it, we have seen it, the definition. Now comes the third question. And that is how you make a difficult question from a simple question. The third is, when I'm holding this rod here, when I'm holding this rod here, and I'm going to write it also. When I'm holding this rod here, this rod it has rest. It is at rest. Do you all understand this? When I'm holding this rod here, it is at rest.
Yes, sir.
But when it falls, does it remain at rest? When it falls, does it remain at
No,
rest?
sir.
No, it does not remain. It has some velocity. That is the next question. Find the velocity of the rod. Oops, wrong color. Find out the velocity of the rod. The rod has fallen down by a distance x. What is the velocity of the rod? That is the third question. If you do all these three questions, well, congratulations. You are doing well. I'll give you a minute. Think about it. I'll keep my mouth shut for 1 minute. Do it. Anyone, any answer? What is the velocity of this rod when it has fallen down by a height h, by a distance h? Anyone with the answer?
Sir, under root 2gh.
Under root 2gh. That is the correct answer. How did you get it? Answers are not important. The process is the important. The process is the one which is important. How did you get it?
V square minus u square equal to 2s as acceleration equal to gravity. Initial velocity is equal to 0. V square equal to 2gh. V equal to under root 2gh.
That is correct, but you should not have used that because that is only valid if the acceleration is constant. You are lucky here that the acceleration is constant. You should not be using that formula because that is only valid when acceleration is constant. I've never asked about the acceleration of this rod. So if I have not asked about the acceleration of this rod, why are you finding out the acceleration of this rod? You are doing useless stuff. Remember, v square is equal to u square plus 2as. It's not a form. It's not a question. It's not a formula for the first chapter. It's a question. It's a formula that comes in work, power, and energy. You are applying the same formula, but you're applying it in a different way, which is dangerous. V square is equal to u square plus 2s is the most stupid formula in the entire universe. Never, 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 never. Never, 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 never apply. All these three formulae, v is equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus half at square, v square is equal to u square plus 2s. Remember, they're only valid when acceleration is constant. And you will hardly get a question of constant acceleration. So that formula has to be out of your head as soon as they come. Okay? Only apply them when you are sure that acceleration is constant. Your answer is correct. Your process is also very correct. But I must warn you that you must be careful when you apply this. Remember? Did you get this better? Please don't take it
Root
otherwise.
over 2gh, sir.
Answer is correct. Your process is also correct. I'm saying the same thing. But that is not how it has to be done. How it has to be done. You have taken the entire context of the chapter and thrown it out of the window. I talked about work done, and I told you most of the question that you get.
That also you can do nothing.
Yes, beta.
Right.
I'm not worried about the answer. Answers are useless to me. To get a correct answer is useless. I'm not worried about the answer. Answer you will get at some point in time. You will get to apply the concept correctly. That is the main concern. I hope you understand it better. Your answer is correct. Root over 2gh. Your process is also correct. But I must warn you that you only apply that acceleration thing when acceleration is asked. No one is asking you acceleration here. Why you are applying acceleration here? Did I ask you what is the acceleration? No, I did not ask you that. If I'm not asking you something, you're not supposed to reply on that thing. Because if you're finding out the acceleration, you are increasing one more step in the problem. And that is what you can't do. So how is it has to be done? Remember, I'm talking about work done by gravity. Remember, this chapter is work, power, and energy. Remember, we have learned something known as work energy theorem. Yes or no? Work kinetic energy theorem. Do we remember this? That is what we need to apply here. What is this work kinetic energy theorem? Work done by all forces is equal to change in kinetic energy. This is what you need to apply. Almost all question that comes in mechanics will be based on this work energy theorem. Okay. Work done by all forces. The only force working here is gravity. Work done by that force is mgh. Work done by all force is work done by gravity. It is mgh. So I simply write here mgh is equal to change in kinetic energy. Final kinetic energy is half mv square. Initial kinetic energy is 0. And your answer. Remember, when I wrote this formula, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. This formula is nothing. This formula is nothing but it is work energy theorem. Do you remember this or not? In one class, I explained it. Yes or no? So do not use it like this. It is very dangerous if you use it like this, because to use it like this, you must understand that you have to find acceleration. You must understand that acceleration has to be constant. Then only you can apply this. So be careful while you apply this formula. But you can always apply it in the form of work energy theorem. Find out the work done by all forces. When you find out the work done by all forces, if they are constant force, you will get them straight away. If they are variable force, you will integrate them and get them. So your chances of doing a mistake is very less. Are you getting my point? Can I have some raise hand that I understand this? Everyone, boys, girls. Okay, so that is the answer. Under root of 2gh is exactly correct. Under root 2gh is exactly correct. Okay, shall I move on to the next question? Everyone is ready. I'll give you a minute to note it down. Anyone any doubt, please come up. I hope you have noted it down. So now we move on to the next question in this category. And oops, I will move on to the next question in this category. And this question is problem number 51. Problem number 51. I will read it once. I'll mark down the important points. This is how you must read the problem. Read it once and solve it. A rod of mass m, length L, lying on a horizontal table. Work done in making it stand on one end. Initially it is like this. Finally it has to be like this. Find out the work done. Remember, one thing is not mentioned here. You must always remember, you must always understand that if a question comes here in this pattern, remember it is lifted very, 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 very slowly. If it is lifted very, very slowly, the change in kinetic energy is going to be zero. Do we understand this? Do we understand this? It is not mentioned in the question, but we'll have to take that the rod is lifted very, 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 very slowly so that the change in kinetic energy is going to be zero. Am I clear? Am I clear? Can I have some raised hands? I think we have discussed this in the previous examples where I told you that change in kinetic energy is zero. So that takes us to some sort of questions. And remember, here the acceleration is not constant. So you cannot apply v square is equal to u square plus 2as or something of that nature. Please remember. Let's see who gets me the answer. Remember, answer is not important. I am least concerned with the answer. I will be concerned with answers maybe next year in August. I will be concerned that you are getting right answers or not. Before that, I am not concerned with your right answers. Next year, August, because you will be appearing for exam in December. So somewhere around July or August, I would be concerned whether you are getting the right answers or not. Right now, I'm just concerned that you are applying the right concept or not. Anyone with an answer? I'll give you a minute. A minute to win it. Anyone got any answer? No one got any answer? I'm waiting, bacha. I'm waiting for your answers. No one got anything? Shall I do it now? Okay, I'll give you 1 more minute. Do it. Yes, the speaker, the mic is getting passed on. So someone wants to speak something. Anyone? Am I audible and visible to all of you? My video is not lagging. Everything is running fine.
Sir,
Yes, bacha.
sir, using work energy theorem.
We will be using work energy theorem. That is great. And what and how will you apply it? Did you get the answer, beta?
Sir, mgh by 2 na sir, mgh na sir, formula. So H will be L by 2 and we'll get mgl by 2.
mgl by 2. That is correct, but you are not still explaining how it is done. So let us see how it has to be done. So I have drawn two diagrams here. The blue diagram is the initial case, how the rod was kept, and the green diagram is the final case. This is the final case, how it is finally. We all understand this? Initial, final. Now remember, at all points in time, the gravitational potential energy of ground is taken as zero. Whether the ground is here or the ground is here, same ground, gravitational potential energy of the ground is zero. Now, if the gravitational potential energy of ground is zero, in case number one, the blue case, the gravitational potential energy of this rod is zero. Do we all understand this? In the first case, the center of mass lies on ground. So gravitational potential energy of this rod is zero. Do you understand this? Yes or no? Raise hand will give me more confidence. Okay. In case number two, the center of mass has been raised by a height L by 2 because it is at the center. So now in this case, the center of mass is at a height L by 2. So the gravitational potential energy in this case becomes mg L by 2. Do we all understand this? Second case, the gravitational potential energy is mg L by 2. We all understand this? Raise hand will give me more confidence. Okay. The third thing that you have to understand is very important, not given in the question. The change in kinetic energy, wrong letter, right? Change in kinetic energy, oops. Change in kinetic energy 0. Do we all understand this? The kinetic energy of the rod does not change. Do you all understand this? Yes. Now we apply our favorite work energy theorem, work kinetic energy theorem. Work done by all forces will be equal to change in kinetic energy. Remember, this rod is lying here. It will not go standing on its own. It will not go like this on its own. Someone has to lift it. In this case, my hand is lifting it. My hand is lifting it. This hand is the external force which is lifting it. Whose work done is asked in the question. It is not mentioned, but that is the work done that is asked. How much work has to be done to lift it? Someone else had to lift it. We call that someone else as external force. So there are two forces acting here. What are the two forces acting here? One is work done by gravity. One force is gravity. Plus the other force is the external force which is trying to lift it up. Two forces at work. One is gravity. The other is external force. Their sum has to be equal to change in kinetic energy. But as you can see, the change in kinetic energy, delta Ke is 0. Delta Ke is 0, and hence this becomes 0. So the work done by the external agent becomes minus of work done by gravity. And when I say minus work done by gravity, it is the change in potential energy, because work done by gravity is negative of that. So work done by gravity ka negative will be change in potential energy. Change in potential energy is final potential energy minus initial potential energy. So the answer is mg L by 2 minus 0. That is the work done by the external force minus 0. And that is the work done that we are looking at. Do we understand this? Can I have some raise hand? This is how we get the answer. Correct answer. With the correct concept. What work was asked? External work was asked. What answer we have given? We have given the answer for the external work. Congratulations if you got this question on your own. If you got this question on your own, if you understood the basic points of this question, well done, bacha. That is a great thing to happen at this point in time. I'll give you a minute to note this question down. Then we'll move on to the last question of today's class. I hope everyone is noting it down. Okay. That takes us to the last question of today's class, and the question looks like this on your board. I'll make it a more general question. This is question says a meter stick, so it is 1 meter long. Instead of calling it as meter stick, we can call the length as L. The length of the stick is L. Mass is given as 400 grams. Let us call it as M. Mass of the rod is M, so that the question becomes general. So a rod of mass M and length L is pivoted at one end. It's pivoted at one end. This is the end on which it is pivoted, hanged, hung. It is displaced through an angle of 60 degrees. Instead of calling it as 60 degrees, let us call it by general name theta. Angle it is turned is theta. Find the increase in the potential energy. You have to find out how much the potential energy has increased. It has definitely increased because the rod has moved up. Therefore, the potential energy has increased. That is the question. Mass of the rod is M. Length of the rod is L. The rod has been displaced or rotated by an angle of 60 degrees. What is the increase in the potential energy? I'll give you a minute to do it.
Sir,
Yes, beta?
sir, 1 joule.
Yes?
Answer is 1 joule, sir.
Answer is 1 joule. That is correct. The answer is 1 joule. Well done. But instead of giving the answer as 1 joule, give the answer in terms of M, L, and theta. That would be more general, beta.
mg L by 2 into 1 minus cos theta.
That is absolutely correct. Well done, beta. Well done. How did you do it? Please tell me, how did you do it? First of all, you have to draw a diagram. So this is the diagram. I'll just enhance the diagram so that you can see it on a bigger stage. And I'm very impressed that you could do this. You can do these questions on your own. Well, I must congratulate you that you are doing exceedingly well. Well done. Okay. So the now, as you can see, the diagram is on full screen. Almost whatever I need is there on the full screen. Okay. Just better tell me, how did you do it? The first is the initial case and this is the final condition. Yes or no? Help me out in solving this question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This point P is the initial position of center of mass. It was originally here. This point Q is the final position of the center of mass. Do we all understand this, everyone? So this center of
Sure.
mass has been lifted up. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
How much is the center of mass lifted? It is equal to this height h. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Answer is simply mgh. The answer is simply mgh. Do we all understand this? Can I have some raise hand that we understand this? The answer is simply mgh. We just need to find out the value of this h. So basically, we need to find out the value of this height h. This one. So how do I find the value of this height h? I find this complete length. This complete length is L by 2 because it is the length of the center from the top. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
The only thing that is left now is to calculate the value of this length. How did you calculate the value of this length? It is simple. Simple math. See, I'll draw it. Look at this diagram now. This diagram is O, P dash and Q. O, P dash and Q. From O to Q, it is L by 2 because this Q is the new center. This angle is theta, 60 degrees. I have to find the value of this OP dash. This OP dash will be equal to L by 2 cos theta. Do you remember these vectors? If vector is like this and this angle is theta, this becomes this is A, this becomes A cos theta and samne wala becomes A sin theta. Do we remember this?
Yes, sir.
That's it. So if you remember things correctly, this will become your L by 2 cos theta. So your H becomes L by 2 minus L by 2 cos theta. So I can write it as L by 2 into 1 minus cos theta. So my final answer is M G L by 2 1 minus cos theta. Do we all understand this? Can I have some reason that we understand this, sir? Well, if you understand this, this is all that you need to know. I hope that this sheet is there with you. There are some questions given in this sheet. There was a question in the examination hall that I gave you that were based on the same concept. We had not done this, but we know how to do it. So you must know how to solve it. There are questions in the sheet as well on the leveling of heights of the tanks of containing water. I hope that you solve those questions. We'll come back in the next class and we'll do more interesting stuff. The next interesting stuff is law of conservation of energy. That would be coming in the next class. So be prepared for that. Study hard. Time is now running out fast. Study. Utilize your time and enjoy your day as well. I'll meet you day after tomorrow with the next class. I hope you enjoyed this class. Take care. See you.
Bye,
Tata.
sir.
Bye bye, beta.